It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. So welcome to Mind Your Business. I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and I am with Travis Weeks, founder of Driven Society. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. I'm so happy to be on, especially invited by Jamillah. The influence amazing. So
I No, seriously though, I'm really excited to have met you. And BBC has established a partnership with you. I think our first event together was back in 2018?
Yeah, I think so. 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inspire Weekend.
Absolutely.
And since that time, we've been fortunate enough to continue that relationship with you. We've had opportunity to take some of our entrepreneurs to New York to see what you guys do. And then you, in turn, have been able to come here. Before we get into all of the details, though, I would love for you to just kind of introduce yourself, tell us about Driven Society, and what was the whole reason behind creating it.
Absolutely. I mean, there was multiple reasons. So I'll explain what Driven Society is. So I'm Travis Weeks. I founded Driven Society, over a decade ago at this point now.
Okay.
But right now, Driven Society is a culture-first marketing agency and platform, and we produce content, campaigns, strategic partnerships, all for the brands that we serve to deeply resonate and connect with their target audiences. So if, brand A wants to connect with Hispanic audiences that are Gen Z but love sports, we devise the strategies, thinking of culture first and communities first, and create a campaign for them. That can look like anything from an event or connecting with an artist or a media partner. And we've been doing this for quite some time now, and we love it. We just love that intersection between culture, community, and partnerships. How it originated though was a little bit crazy because I'm a little different.
Different can be good.
Right, exactly. I definitely didn't take the conventional route here. I just knew I had a passion, and my passion was community and creatives.
Okay.
And I always knew I felt the best, I felt the most alive when I brought community together to uplift them, to provide resources, and help them advance their careers, their creative projects, help them get to the next level. And that ethos, that spirit, that energy is what created Driven Society. So originally we started as a platform. We would do these events, music showcases in New York City. I'm running around figuring out how to book venues and do contracts with artists, and we'd have them come out and perform and help them build their audiences. But a lot of the artists we had, we eventually found their managers, were able to eventually get signed. Some of the music showcases we did, and that spilled over to art galleries, to even poet showcases, to panels and business panels and creative panels. And I'm like, I really, really love this. I really have an understanding of what this community needs. And then I found out you can get paid for it. You know what I mean? Because I found out that it's a significant value add for brands, companies, organizations to work with teams and companies who understand the culture, who understand what creative communities are engaged in, who understand how to speak that language, how to translate their product or whatever they're promoting, how to translate it in a cultural, resonating way. And I know I had that language down pat, and I know if you want to connect with our people, our community, at the very least, come through us. Let us show you how to do it right, and let us show you how to do it authentically, because that's how you're gonna deeply connect the most. And also, let's do it from a lens of actually bring an impact. So if we just work with HBO, or if we did work with a couple brands, but if you want to really promote your product, let's find the ways that not only do we give you the brand awareness and those KPIs we hit those, we also leave impact. And that's the platform, that's the mission statement That's the entire ethos of German society.
And I love that because I think sometimes you get one but not the other, right? You know, so it's like all about creating the opportunity for the corporate brand.
Yeah.
But what about those who need it the most or the exposure, right? The people that they're trying to target, what do they get out of it at the end of the day?
100%.
So can you talk to me about a time, like what was your most impactful kind of brand kind of relationship?
Oof. Oof.
He's like, all of them.
That's a really
Pick one.
Oh man.
Impactful, not the biggest one or like
Okay.
the shiniest one, but the
Okay.
one based on what you said the mission was the most impactful.
Okay. There's so many. So the one that comes to mind that is definitely up there. It's definitely probably top 2 and top 3. Is actually the most the most impactful one was this amazing thought leader in our network by the name of Kenji Summers.
Okay.
Who is a brand marketer, but I work for some of the biggest brands in the world. He's a very conscious brother, and he decided to take on meditation as a practice.
Yes.
But he took it.
Yes, I did. He came to the Inspire Weekend. I remember him. Yes.
But Kenji didn't take meditation as just like a hobby. He took it as like a way of life.
Okay.
He took it as a way of wanting to shift the culture of meditation. And I love that because there's so much benefits that meditation, how it grounds you, how it just helps with mental health, how it gives you clarity. And it's such a wellness attribute that some people don't really appreciate because it seems simple, like what meditation can transform your life. You know what I mean? And there was a time when Kenji hit me up, and in collaboration with Meta, we wanted to do something really dynamic for the community. So Meta came on board as a partner. And shout out to Meta. And this was around pandemic, a little after pandemic time. But this is when the Meta Plus headsets, they were really
Just coming out of something.
yeah, that's
Okay.
probably maybe like the second iteration of it. But the goal of ours was to find an intersection between these virtual worlds and this new digital world that was being created through Meta, and how can that still be attributed to wellness and mental health. And what we did, which was really, really dope, is we partnered with the school in Brooklyn, Southfield School in Brooklyn. We partnered with a basketball sports program called Bucket Fam. Shout out to my folks at Bucket Fam. And we designed a virtual world within the headsets. We called it Bucket Island. And we gave out, and shout out to Arinze, who was the brand marketer at Meta that helped bring this to life. We gave away 30 headsets to a school in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and to this youth program called Bucket Fam, and we created a virtual mental health wellness. So imagine 30 kids, we're in the headsets, and Kenji in the headsets, and they're in this virtual world playing games. And Kenji, while in the game, while in the world, forget what I was trying to say, they did a meditation for about 15 minutes. And although yes, it's a digital world, like these kids loved it. They talked about like clarity they gave for them.
Yeah.
And just being able to like get back to the community in that way. Of course they love the headsets and they also hear whole
Right.
sort of happy to have it. But just to be able to also show them another tool to support their mental health was phenomenal. It was
And
probably
in that way, in a way that they connected with, right?
Exactly.
Because if you just tell somebody, a young person, I need you to meditate, close your eyes, breathe, they're gonna be like, whatever, I don't have no time for that.
Exactly.
So you met them like where they were. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most impactful culture projects with a tech company that I worked on, and it's still impactful to this day. Like, I did a recap video, and it's like one of my best, most favorite projects. There's a couple others, but that one stood out because it was youth driven.
Yeah.
And like I said, we met them where they at. We built this world called Bucket Island, where they were playing basketball in the world and the virtual with the headset on, and made them all stop and recording and have a meditation, and to bridge those worlds was really dope.
That is awesome. You know what I thought you was gonna say?
What's that?
I thought you was gonna say, oh, when I did Inspire Weekend.
Yeah, that was funny. Didn't talk about it.
I'm glad you did because I'm like, he played it. I was like,
Yeah.
so no, I really think that that's good. And I think for us, I can speak for me personally. When we first met you and Dustin,
Yeah.
and I understood your connection, especially with young people, because we were like, we need to try and attract more young people to entrepreneurship. And how do we get them? I don't know. I'm too old, so I don't know. I'm like 80s out. So like, but I felt based on what I saw that you guys had that connection, and it's obvious, right, with the different partnerships that you had that you do. That's where you're good at that. So I'm gonna switch gears, and I want to talk a little bit more about you as an entrepreneur and your entrepreneurial journey. So like you always know you were gonna be an entrepreneur.
Did I always know that I was going to be an entrepreneur? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I always did. My first passion was I really want to do real estate.
Okay.
It was taking too long. Well, I ain't having no fun doing it. That's when I realized something about myself that like whatever I do, whatever I want to do and put my time in and working, like
Right.
I know I need to be stimulated to a certain level.
Okay.
Finding that pocket of stimulation was my first step. But yes, I always knew I was going to do something unconventional, something different. I always knew I wasn't going to be able to play in a box. That's just not my personality.
Right.
It's not how I really work on. And even when I do put myself in a box, it never lasts with me. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I always have that in me.
Okay. So in this field, though.
In this specific field?
Yeah, like
No, not this. I really didn't know I was going to be doing this. And this is why exposure, this is why, to bring back Inspire Bermuda.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go to anything like Inspire Bermuda to learn about what I'm doing. What I'm doing, people classify it under different names. Essentially, it's marketing, culture marketing. But around that time when I started, this term was fairly new. It was called experiential marketing.
yes.
Because when you're creating experiences and activations to really amplify campaigns and amplify marketing goals. So I didn't have an Inspire Bermuda to go to. So I didn't know exactly that I was going to be doing this at all. But I moved. I did action. I just knew like I would probably enjoy this. Let me do a music showcase. Let me see what happens. And then one thing led to another. All of a sudden I had a partnership with that venue in the Lower East Side. And I'm doing one music showcase a month. Post came Dreamville. Members from them was pulling up and different. It was starting to build momentum, seeing what I knew I liked it. But then I got exposed to other agencies in the space, like, and I'm gonna shout them out, Team Epiphany, these other agencies that really were on the first like wave of what influencer marketing was.
Okay.
And I got to learn. I'm hearing about some of the events and we're like, what? They did that. And this rapper came out and they did that and they got paid how much? Like,
he blew me in. I need some of that.
I'm like, this is what I need. And I will also say, like, I used to be in mortgages before I started. So I was in like finance and mortgages.
That is like complete opposite of this. I'm like, when you said that, I was like, like how?
Yo, so I was young, right? And I got this job, PA, I won't even say the name, but I got this job because I was always savvy in getting jobs. And it was a good job for being young, 2021. But I always remember this, I tell my friends this. And a lot of the job had to do with like processing and stuff like that. And it was a big like warehouse type of building. And I probably was like one to like two at the time. And this time I lived in Jersey, I didn't come back to New York just yet. And I remember standing up in the job. I remember vividly seeing like rows of computers.
Like I'm visualizing what you're going and tops of heads, right?
And I remember thinking like, I can't do this, can't do that. I literally remember thinking like, ain't no way I can. I'm like, I remember there was this girl there who was like, when she celebrated her 11th year anniversary year, and she was 30.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, it was like, you was super here since you were 19.
Wow.
And the job was literally in front of the, do you know the two screen?
Yeah.
No, I know. And it was just waves of heads. And I'm like, 9 to 5, you come home and you tired from the job and
you gotta do it all over again.
And I was just like, This
It
can't
can't
be
be me.
it.
He's like, this is not like.
This can't be it. So when like I forgot what happened, either I was trashing the job, they fired me, or I was like, but I remember they were offering like severance pay. Man, I was like, let me try to stick it out one more week. Man, I ain't even making it a week. 3 days in, I'm like, yeah, let me
Yeah, I'll take that.
let me take that.
Yeah.
Let me go struggle and figure it out because, and I got rid of all my safety. I had the point was a lot of safety.
Yeah.
Economic safety, economic comfortability. I got rid of all of that just to like taste freedom, just to build something, create something that I knew I needed.
Yeah, that's interesting though, because I think you have to kind of be connected to yourself on a different level to take that leap of faith. Because that was risky. Like, I don't know how you were raised or what your parents told you, but of course, they're looking at it from an economic perspective. They want to make sure you're okay. So to take that leap of faith and be like, yeah, I cannot do computers and it's desk, even though it's stable, steady income, and just be like, I'm gonna just throw it all of that caution out to the wind and take the risk.
Absolutely, definitely. I had a nice car, I had an Infiniti. Well, I'll tell you this: a big shout out to my mom, dad, to maybe another parent. They would look at that like, yo, he has a job.
Yeah, a lot of parents.
And they would just be like, they wouldn't say anything. They would let you call.
Yeah.
I always remember my mom wrote me an email, and I was like one of those jobs, and I remember reading the email. She was asking me, she was like, "Son, is this it? Is this all you see for yourself? Like, I know you're making something. Is this really it?" You know what I mean? And I was emotional about it. I'm like, "Yeah, being like, I'm doing something."
Yeah,
I was
the Infiniti. What you talking about?
Exactly. You see his car seat? You see these plush seats? You see these leather seats? Like, you know what I mean? But she like kept it up, like, is this really all you want? And that made me think about things a lot differently. And, but yeah, you gotta know yourself.
Yeah, that's the first part.
Right.
So now you know yourself. That ain't for you, but you're gonna try something else. So I'm hearing you say these rappers and these names. I'm like, J. Cole, I know who that is. So my next question is around how you curate or identify the talent and how you get them to come. Like, what is that? Because not everybody can do it.
Absolutely.
You do a little, I'm good in interviews, whatever. So in my mind, I'm thinking that boils down to your ability to connect and connect people.
Yeah.
But you tell me that's just what I think. I want to hear from you.
You're excellent on running with that. With talent, it's an interesting thing. Number one is you gotta have relationships. And you gotta know how to build relationships. It's hard to build relationships. And my way of building those relationships is always try to add value first.
Okay.
And come at it from an authentic perspective, because outside of the talent, I work people. You know what I mean? So I always come at it from a genuine, authentic perspective, and I build a network. And then the next layer of that is not just trying to build a relationship with artists and whatnot, like show love to the team. A lot of the time, the team can get you places and connect you, deeper and closer to your goals faster than any artist would anyway. So I remember I did a campaign and actually spoke about it on the last panel. I did a campaign with HBO, and we were charged to create an experiential campaign for this film they had called Across the Red. And I really wanted to win this RFP. So RFP is probably my biggest RFP, 6-figure RFP I ever worked on. Where I need this. And I came in with this concept that I threw in there. I didn't know any of the talent, but I submitted film. I'm like, we're gonna create a podcast to promote the film. We're gonna launch it on Apple iTunes, and we're gonna get Victor Cruz to host it. I did not know Victor. I did not know that guy at all. And they came back and said, "Oh yes, we love it." I'm like, well, Victor Cruz, can't get him. You can get somebody else. I'm like, "Oh no, this is HBO. We want Victor Cruz. HBO wants Victor Cruz this one."
HBO gotta have Victor Cruz.
Exactly. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. So you know what I mean? And like, because sometimes we figure out like an email or something. That's always like, you get, sometimes people just get like these enormous, rates or like a way to everything that's not like going to be conducive to your business. And what I found out, I listened to research, and I was going through my my network, and one of my good friends who was a stylist was one of Victor Cruz's stylists. And her name was Rachel. She's amazing. And she connected us. And we did a deal, and we got him to commit. And coming from her, it was just a more
authentic. It was, yeah.
more authentic, exactly. And more of a relationship and more cohesive type of process than actually going on it the other way.
Right.
There's a lot of love, and we ended up having other mutual connections with Victor, but we created an amazing podcast called Cost of Winning on HBO, and it was a really dope, dynamic, successful campaign. But that came from my network, and that came from always supporting people and helping people and trying to uplift community around them.
I think you make an excellent point because especially for Bermudians and Bermudian entrepreneurs, because it's small, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably saw the same person you flew in with,
Yeah.
like around the corner, right? Because that's just how small it is.
Right.
And so I think in situations like that, it is very, very important to manage those relationships, right? Because you never know who you wrote in with and where next you're going to see them.
Right.
And so from a, I guess, advice and guidance perspective, I think entrepreneurs who are listening to this need to understand how important it is, right?
Absolutely.
It could have made the difference between you getting the deal with HBO and not, right? Because they wanted it to cruise, and if you couldn't figure out a way to do it without having to go through the normal kind of channels, then it's a done deal, right? They're gonna move on to the next one.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Absolutely.
So my next question is around your thoughts about, I guess, locations and where you build these kind of brand partnerships and deals.
Yeah.
Do you focus them, and are you like, okay, Driven Society, we're going to focus on New York proper, and then we're going to expand out, or is it more whoever comes, or are you like, I want to go to this place, so I think I'm going to try and look for an opportunity in this place? How do you come up with what you're going to do and when you're going to do it?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I think originally we were in New York, and New York just happens to be the Mecca. So it's where all the brands are, where all the directors and marketing execs and to connect. So originally our first, thinking was like New York or nowhere type.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But that changed quickly. Because there's money everywhere.
It sure is.
There's money in Bermuda.
It sure is.
You know what I mean? So that changed, and also there's creatives everywhere. I want to touch everybody. But and also I would even say it's also a different level of thinking, right? There's a shift in mindset when you stop thinking local and start thinking global. Especially in this new creator economy. We have all these mechanisms where your content, your products, your designs, whatever you're offering, you give to the world, with these new technology mechanisms, it's not designed just to hit one market now. Everybody should be thinking global. Every entrepreneur, every creative should be thinking global. So as I evolved and grew, that changed. Like I've worked with partnerships with Coachella, I've worked with partnerships for festivals in Ghana. I've worked with partnerships across the island. Shout out to Bermuda. I've worked with creators and talent who've done projects everywhere, key markets in the city, even alternative markets like in North Carolina. There's communities everywhere that want to feel seen, that want to feel connected, and would love to engage and support you. You never know. Like I said, sometimes I was saying on the last panel, I was like, you may connecting to your audience and understanding your audience is so important, because you may have a platform or product where you shop into your audience. Maybe your audience is in visibility across the Caribbean islands. Maybe your audience is in Africa. Maybe your audience is in in Europe. You know what I mean? Maybe there are people who really want to support you, but you're too busy focused trying to, get the impress.
Feed something. Yeah.
Impress some people that you might have grown up with, or in a certain circle or a certain space, or community. Nah, you gotta think bigger. You gotta think global. You gotta look at yourself as a global entrepreneur to be able to evolve your mindset and be in that space.
So my next question is around identifying your talent, right? And how you do that.
Yeah.
Now I have my opinion, but I would love to understand how you determine who you want to work with, right?
Yeah.
So coming from a perspective of we're partnering to do this Inspire Weekend,
Yep.
and hopefully it could be an annual event.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of refine or curate a list of contacts or people or relationships that you say, yes, this is who we're going to reach out to come and be part of this? How do you do that?
Absolutely. Man, that's a great question. How I identify talent, it really comes from the lens of authenticity. What talent I feel is really authentic in nature and really is about sharing their gift with the world. And really have become expert matters in whatever field of creative industry. You know what I mean? Like Matt Boston, for instance. Tristan Maguire, like he's authentic in nature. Like he wants to help. He wants to help people feel. And also as a creative, he takes his work very seriously. And he's a man of family. He's a man of foundation, and I respect and appreciate. Not everybody is that character type, and it's okay for them and whatnot. But those are the type of creatives and talent and curate I like to align with artists, because when it comes from a real place, it connects to people in a real way. And I always try to keep that direction as like my North Star, like how I curate, how I align, how I look for brand ambassadors, and how I connect strategic partnerships between brands and platforms and talent.
I mean, it's apparent that I mean, for me, because since we've worked together, I feel like that is a true statement that you're saying, because, and I think from a
Same thing you, brother.
oh, but thank you.
I'm gonna see you working together.
Yeah. I must be doing something right, y'all. No, but no, seriously, I really do think that that's important. And you mentioned like the North Star, and
Yeah.
I remember going to a conference and one of the speakers was like, before you do anything else, you have to set like what your baseline is going to be. What are the things that you are going to stand by? What's going to be your guiding principle?
Absolutely.
And that's going to help you to decide how, who, you know what I mean?
Sure.
All of that, right? And so I see it. So nobody ever told you. It's working. And I think for us on the receiving end, when you show up, like you said, as your authentic self, and then you have people who, for all intents and purposes, haven't been, they're these mega stars.
Yep.
And you know how some people think mega stars should act, and then they don't act like that.
Yeah.
And they're just individuals, and they're showing up, and they're giving of themselves and sharing of themselves.
Yeah.
I think we, on the receiving end, it's appreciated, and the message is received better.
Absolutely.
You know?
100%. Yeah.
So shout out to Tristan, Mac Walls. So now let's talk a little bit about Inspire Weekend.
Let's do it.
And what is that going to be? What is that experience?
Absolutely.
And why should people be looking forward to that?
Indeed. So we've been building Inspire Weekend together for quite some time, and it's always been creative first. It's always been around connectivity and intentional thought leadership and wellness as well too. I look at this Inspire Weekend coming up as a culmination of all of that.
Okay.
I want this experience. No, this experience will be
Yes.
the center of mindfulness, wellness, business, creativity, entrepreneurship, but it's going to bridge those worlds of wellness and those people who are creatively curious. Because I think that's the way north, that's the way forward. So yes, we all want to close the biggest deals in the world. We're gonna have people there to speak on that. We're gonna have some amazing creatives, artists, business-minded entrepreneurs there. But we're also gonna have opportunities to do yoga, to people set their mindset straight, because you gotta believe it here first and your actions follow. So we want to start with the mind and then have that follow through to action. But just to reiterate, it's going to be just a culmination of that wellness, creativity, and that go-getter, hustler mentality spirit, bringing that all together. So when you leave Inspire Weekend, you feel like, not only can I do this, but I also have the right mindset, how to speak to myself, how to affirm myself, how to affirm my next steps, and how to execute from a high level. And then also doing it from a way that supports momentum, that supports my community, and doing it from a way where you know you have like real people behind you and real people inspiring you and encouraging you to go for that leap and to trust yourself and better yourself. So I'm super excited for that weekend. I think it's going to be one of the best one yet. I want everybody to show up. I want all the partners on board. You're not going to want to miss this. We're going to create content on the beach. We're going to create content in these rooms. We're gonna really be focused on making sure that whoever leaves brings wealth back to Bermuda, brings wealth back to their families, changes their world, and impacts culture as we know it.
All right. I love to hear it, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Every time you come, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And so I know that our job at BDC is to create these opportunities and experiences for our local entrepreneurs. But I think one of my own personal goals has always been how to curate an entrepreneurship focused event that would attract international guests to Bermuda as well, right? Because I do think that there's opportunity in entrepreneurship. Like, we do a lot of insurance and reinsurance conferences here. People come to Bermuda and tour the island. And I'm like, there's so much more.
Right.
And I think in bringing other entrepreneurs or other creatives to the island, our local entrepreneurs benefit, right? Because there's an opportunity for partnership, there's synergies there. Who knows what it could become?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this. That's going to be 2026, February, right? That's what we're planning for. So please, I would just say, keep your eyes open, stay tuned. We have come. Can you believe we've been talking for 30 minutes? Don't feel like it, does it? But before we go, just remind people how they can find out more about Driven Society.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely go on drivensociety.com, our Instagram, Driven Society, at Driven Society, LinkedIn, Driven Society, all the channels, Driven Society. But really, you can connect with us through Instagram or on our website. Yeah, come check us out. Come check out an event. We're always putting our latest work when it comes to either experiences, platforms, or conferences we're doing, or some of the campaigns and partnerships that we're facilitating as well too. So definitely follow us on the gram. But always excited to connect, and we're storytellers at heart. So we're planning a new series too that's really rooted in storytelling, and it's for creators, all creators, and really for them telling their story. So always look out for what we do. It's always really something fresh, and that's how we look at it. I look at it as like we're a creative group, more than just an agency. Like I work with different teams, different projects. And it's always about like how can we push communities and culture forward. So yeah, tune in and keep looking out. Look out for Inspire Bermuda. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's gonna be amazing, and I'd love to see you there.
I love it. Listen, we minded our business today. Listen, and if you don't mind your business, remember who we are.
Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.